Welcome, everybody. My name is Kristina Wolf. I'm the creator of the Energy Mastery, creating systems that support your best life. And I'd like to introduce you to my speaker, Sara K. Woll. She's a yoga teacher, and she's very good at self-care. Would you like to tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Thank you. Hello, everyone. So thank you for that introduction. I do believe in self-care. I feel like in my work as a mom, in my life, in my work as a teacher, and in my work as a coach, for my own self, it's about the self-care game. And it's about keeping myself really full so that I can stay really present, so that life doesn't feel like a long list of duties or a collection of tasks, but that I'm able to kind of get done what I need to get done and then sink really deeply into all the best parts, all the stuff that happens in between, all the doing.
That's awesome. That is really awesome. The purpose for this speaker series is primarily for entrepreneurs that are starting their own business, and I have noticed a kind of phenomenon that when you want to start your own business, it requires a lot of self-discipline. And one of the many skills that I think is really important to master is self-care, your personal energy, like who you give your time to. And if you're good at determining, I'm getting tired now, maybe I should rest. I'm hungry, I should stop and eat. Sometimes when you're starting a business, you get into kind of that mad scientist mode and you're not really taking care of yourself. And then at the end of the day, you're like, I'm really exhausted. Like this isn't fun. So I think that balance is really important. And can you talk a little bit about some of the things that you do to teach your clients how to calm themselves or stay centered and take care of themselves in general?
I love everything that you just said. I very much support the mission of this speaker series. I think it's really important to stay in the fun. Because we want it to be sustainable. We don't just want to throw everything we have at something, a business, a project, a family, and then be left with nothing and then run out, right? So that balance piece, that piece of staying in flow so that you're challenged enough and not bored, but able to keep going, able to stay fueled. I would say our number one tool,
right? No stress. Supposed to be fun, no stress.
Right. And like you were saying, like monitoring as you're going, like, am I stressed? Am I feeling tired now? And just to really get that clarity. And I would say the two biggest tools that come to mind right away would be breath in the moment, and also a breath practice or a meditation practice. So just like any other muscle, the more we practice meditation, the more we're easily able to slip into that place of awareness throughout the day as things are coming at us. And it gives us a little bit of space in between the action and the reaction. So we're not just like snapping back and forth at things in the mind and with the mouth, but that we're really taking in input, breathing it for a second, and then it comes back out from this centered place. Breath is an extraordinary tool. I mean, we use it day in and day out, whether we realize it or not. But in just 10 or 12 breaths, we can really change our physiology. We can slow our heart rate, lower our body temperature, slow our blood pressure.
Yeah. I really like how they're like, you're talking something very short, something easy to do, that you could maybe do several times throughout the day.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I recommend the beginners write a little something on their hand, or put a reminder on their phone, or put a little sticker on their phone or their steering wheel, or somewhere that just reminds them to many, many times a day, check in with your breath and see, is it Is it really shallow? Is it really fast? Is it really deep and slow? There's a lot of information there.
I'm all right now.
Right? And, as soon as you check in with the breath, everything else kind of falls into line. The shoulders might move down away from the ears. The head might move back a little, and the spine might get a little longer. And when we do that, we allow the flow of energy and neural information to move through the body more effectively. It really is a reset. So if we're stuck in a place where we don't have, the idea is not quite coming, or the words aren't quite coming, or the emotions won't stop, or all of those things at one time, the breath is always there. And that awareness of that breath is just a kind of a next level tool to get information in the moment and to kind of reset oneself.
So just how many breaths would you do, like a simple practice?
So a simple practice is to learn to breathe with your diaphragm. So singers do this, babies do this, and it's really easy to learn. The idea is that when you inhale, your belly comes out filled with air, and then your chest rises filled with air. And then on the exhale, the chest falls, and then the belly comes back in towards you to kind of squeeze out the last of that breath. And even 3 breaths like that, like before you go on stage, or before you leave the shower, or when you drive. I love those transitional moments, because I think that there's a lot of energy leaks, the way you said it, in the rushing around. So like you pull your car into the parking space, and your keys are out, and your body's out of the car before your engine's even stopped, That's a great time to just pause in your car seat, take these 3, I see you doing it now, that's so great. Take these 3 deep breaths and just feel like, okay, now I'm here. Now I'm headed to the next thing. It slows life down.
You miss so much when you're rushing around, and the quality of what you're doing changes. And it's really so simple. It really is. Mm-hmm. And it's amazing, because your breath is something that you can control, but many people don't do it. Or you find that they're sitting there, so it's a way to nourish your cells, and take a nice deep breath. And it's, to me, kind of like an analogy for how you're nurturing yourself. Are you someone who receives well, or are you someone who kind of don't let me, can't receive anything, and that tends to be, qualities of people who aren't living present. And I just can't emphasize the difference in your experience if you're more present.
Mm-hmm. I appreciate that. Yeah, I feel like many of us are better at exhaling than we are at inhaling, or the opposite. And I like that metaphor for the giving and the receiving. I've been teaching prenatal yoga for many, many years. And I see a lot of moms who are coming, a lot of women who are coming into the first time in their life, if it's their first child, where their self-care is becoming really not just nice or extra, but really essential. A lot of us we're only inhaling, and we're holding our breath for a long, long time. And then something will happen throughout the day, and we'll let it all out. And we're like, how long was I holding that? And what were my cells not getting all those times that I wasn't just bathing them with the in and the out of the breath?
And you think, how did I operate all day without giving myself proper fuel? And it'll take its toll over time, right? Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's the simplest things. It's hydration, rest, nutrition, breath. It's the simplest things. And it's so easy in our busy, fast world to just blow by those things. Yeah. To get stuck in a project or in an interaction. Coffee really helps us to forget about drinking and eating. It just sort of seals the body off for a good 6 hours. And then you kind of come back out of it and you're like, oh, I'm starving and I'm so thirsty.
Well, and the caffeine in and of itself is very constricting. Mm-hmm. So here you are holding your breath and, or fast, rapidly breathing, it's a stimulant. So yeah. So we're doing all of these, I guess it goes against common sense to do, but we do it anyway in order to be productive. But how productive do you think a person is if they're not monitoring their self-care?
Well, maybe very productive in short bursts, and maybe that has a vanishing point to it. I think there are those of us in our teens and our 20s that can really never think about the body. The body is so young and so full of life force and so constantly rejuvenating itself no matter what. I think a lot of us spend those years just putting all kinds of ungodly things and experiences into our bodies with that.
30-minute power nap and suddenly you can work another 12 hours and
yeah,
that's amazing. Yeah,
and a lot of us
when
just
you get older, you can't do that.
Exactly. We start to really feel it. We start to feel a little sore in the morning. We start to notice our mood is imbalanced. We start to notice that maybe we're gaining weight, or just not as full of that like joie, that go, that energy, goodness. Because we're taking it artificially. And I kind of feel like coffee, although I love it and I have been in my journey with the coffee bean, I feel like coffee is like borrowing tomorrow's adrenals today.
Yes.
So it's like I'm wringing out Tuesday's adrenals to get energy Monday. And then Tuesday comes and I'm tired.
Right. Yeah, and you find that you get to a place where you need it to function on a basic level. Yeah, I've weaned myself from coffee 2 or 3 times. And every time I went almost an entire year. And I was like, if you had told me maybe a year ago I would go an entire year without coffee, I'd have been like, you're losing your mind. I have to have it. But it's in our society, we could have an entire speaker series about nutrition and whatever, but I think we have an entire society that is addicted to sugar and caffeine. And that in and of itself puts you in a very stressed mindset, whether you're just sitting still or not. The stress inside your body, I think that energy, of course, is very fluid. It's not static, but it can get trapped in your body, that stressed feeling in your body. How would you try to, let's say you find that you're in the middle of a project and you're suddenly checking in and you say, you know what, self, I'm not feeling so good right now. We're not feeling the mojo. I'm feeling like Daffy Duck mode. I'm not feeling like I'm in the flow here. How would you stop horses in midstream?
Well, I think having a plan is really important. I think having a self-care plan, I think having our self-care scheduled into our week before we make other appointments with other people, keeps us on top of our self-care game. And then having a recovery plan for when you get into that mode and you realize I'm not up on my practices. I haven't been going to the gym. I haven't been swimming. I haven't been drinking water, whatever it is that are the things that make you feel good. So I really like to recommend making a list of 10 things that you can do for free by yourself that make you feel good. And that can be anything. On my list is walking. I love to walk in nature. It just does it for me. Especially alone. I like to see bunnies, and it just like fills me up when I'm in nature. Laying on the ground with an eye pillow over your eye, taking a bath, using an essential oil that you really love, and having them in the car and in your purse and in your business case and like anywhere where you are, so that you have these things in your mind, or maybe they're written where you're working, that you can check in with, so that when you take your breathing breaks and the body says, I feel good, I keep working, so you do a little bit more work, maybe you take another breath and you're like, no, I'm not there. And you look at your list, you're like, how's my hydration? I could drink some water. You know what? I've been working for 40 minutes. I'm going to take even a 5-minute walk. Sitting is so dangerous for us, and we're learning more and more about the long-term effects of a sedentary lifestyle. And getting up every 40 minutes, every 20 minutes, even for a few minutes, really changes the way the circulation works, the way the energy flows through the body. So I would say it's about having a plan, and then the recovery plan would be like, okay, I'm tumbled, I'm scrambled, I did it, I worked myself out, I started doing the things. Not only am I not remembering to do the things that make me feel great, but I am now choosing to do the things as a crutch that make me feel good temporarily, but are really taking me down, and I'm noticing my mood, I'm noticing my energy, whatever it is, having a recovery plan. So this might be like a big reach out. This might be canceling a client call, And
yeah, and I would say that when you're getting in that stressed place, the idea of stopping and canceling and inaction is like counterintuitive, right? But it may be the exact thing you need to do. Like stop, recenter. You know, if I'm not in the proper energetic place, maybe I need to do a reset. Because the more you're stressed, the more you're going to be efforting instead of in the flow, right? Yeah, but for me, I know I'd be like, I can't cancel an appointment. I'm already behind. I'm going to have to hurry up and do more. And yeah, how would you speak into that?
Well, I agree. I mean, I feel like, especially in the coaching business, like what we're working with is authenticity. What we're working with is relationship. And if I got super triggered by something earlier this week, and I am just trying to hold it together and help somebody through their process, I'm just not going to be delivering my service to the best of my ability. And it would build the relationship with the client to say, you know what, I am scrambled. I have had a terrible week. My 3-year-old just tantrumed at me like I can't even believe that actually just happened. And to be as present for you as I need to be to help you really to support you in your goals, I need to cancel today. And if they are my ideal client and they are going to say, good choice. And I'm learning from you right now.
Take a note from her. You know?
Exactly. We're teaching by our example, right? So the way that I model for my daughter, the way that I show up in my community, the way that I serve my coaching clients, I want that to all be on the level with, we need to all feel good while we're doing this. We need to all be taking care of ourselves and each other. And I'm not just going to give and give and give and give, because when my well gets really empty, I'm giving like the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah, all the sludge.
Yeah, nobody wants that. Nobody wants to feel the like dry scoop hit the bottom of the well, you know?
Right, or you're giving away life force that you may never get back. Yeah.
It's for real. It's for real. And when my reserves are full, I'm able to give people my best. And that's where we all want to be performing, right? Especially in our professional lives, our personal relationships. We want to be right at our best. We want to be full.
So what I'm taking away from this so far is breath work, even like little mini sessions of self-care you've already pre-planned. You decided that these 5 to 10 things or whatever are things that you know restore you and make you happy. Keep those handy. And then if you do have a actual crisis, for lack of a better term, you know how to recover from that. And really stop yourself in the middle of a crisis or an overload, I guess, for lack of a better term, and bring yourself back to a more centered place. So the only other thing I would ask is, how would you advise someone about learning just the process of checking in? If they're so stressed or unaware, what are some things they can do to sort of learn this habit? Like you say, they'd write something on their hand, or what other things would you do?
I love a focused, committed daily relaxation practice. I love the idea that I spend 8 minutes or 12 minutes. There's something really magical about that 8 to 12 minute mark. It lets
Does it feel very overwhelming to someone who's already all over the place, right? They're like, 8 minutes, I can do that.
Right. Yeah, it's a bite-sized chunk. But once you get into it and the timer hasn't gone off for so long and you're still laying there in this effortless place, it feels really abundant. And so what I mean by saying a focused relaxation practice is you're going to get completely flat on the ground, if that's comfortable to you. If you want a little pillow under your neck or a little pillow under your knees, and maybe there's a cushion under you or a yoga mat. I don't recommend doing it in the bed because we're used to sleeping in the bed. And this is different than sleep. This is letting the body sleep, but the mind stays alert. But the mind is relaxed. So the mind is able to be relaxed without dullness. So it's not like you're going to let it spin or you're just going to let it smush. You're going to be alert to the sensations of relaxation. So what that looks like is you're laying down on the ground and getting some like cool light happening. There we go. You're laying down on the ground, you're perfectly relaxed, and you start at your toes, and you just focus on letting your toes completely go. And then you move your whole way up your body really slowly, like the foot, the ankle, the shin bone, and you really focus on each shin bone getting heavy, sinking down into the ground. And what I'm describing is a practice called yoga nidra, or yogic sleep. And it's often led through at the end of a yoga class when you're in a pose called shavasana, you're laying on your back.
Like the best part of the session, right?
Right. Everybody's always so excited when I say, okay, time to lay down on your back. I can like feel the relief come through the room, you know?
Yeah.
And you can do it with music. You could do it with audio. I have recorded a yoga nidra that I am offering as a free gift. So I'd love for folks to take advantage of that. It just leads
I want to hear it. Yeah.
I'd be so happy to share it with you. It's
awesome.
It's one of my callings is to spread this through the world, because I feel like once we're all really relaxing.
See, that light is like a aura.
See that like spirit light
coming in.
Kind of nice.
Yeah. I feel like it's wonderful.
Once I started talking about my relaxation practice, I just light up, you know?
Yes.
But I think what it does is it gives the body something to look forward to, that the central nervous system responds with the relaxation response. And that's why we don't just do it for a minute and 30 seconds, but you really want to lay there long enough for the body to slow down. And physical stress just leaves the body from the organs, from the tissues. Like this is a proven ancient practice to come back to center. So if you can do it in the morning, you can do it at night. It doesn't really matter. It's not going to mess with your energy for the day and make you sleepy. You will come out of it feeling really alert. And I've had many teachers tell me that just a few minutes in shavasana with this focused relaxation practice is worth like hours of sleep on the body.
Yeah, absolutely. So how would our listeners have access to that free recording?
I'm happy to send you that link, and you can share that with them when you share this video.
Excellent. Okay. Sounds wonderful. Well, Sara, I am so happy we had this conversation. We could probably talk for hours about this. So do you have any final thoughts for our listeners?
Well, I just thank you so much for including me in your series. I really appreciate the way that you are calling time and money all energy, because it's all an energy exchange, and it's the way that we track energy. And I think that our next generation will become more and more aware of energy, of unseen life force, of our own life force. I think that we're kind of the transitional generation. Sort of some people are starting to think about it. Some people
they're already coming in downloaded with Windows 10, and we had to upgrade to it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's well said. Yeah. So I think that, we can have a lot of like cords or leaks, as you said. And once we learn to really tighten those up by taking excellent care of ourselves, by having ourselves really well organized, we'll feel it's like leaving the refrigerator plugged in at night, or the toaster oven got like a phantom leak. Like it's always using a little bit of energy just to stay plugged in. Yeah. And when we can learn to really be aware of our own systems and where we are sending out energy, and we can shut off those things that don't, like a relationship from 10 years ago that still pops into our mind, or old stuff that we're replaying, like we're using energy to do that. And once we get very clear and aware of what's going where, we can start to really bring it all back
and unplug from it, right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what's mine is mine, and what's yours is yours. Yeah. And that's a really healthy way to have boundaries energetically. And I think that's the sweet spot of feeling really good in your body, feeling really productive in your business, feeling really clear in our relationships. So I just want to thank you for calling that all energy. I think that's really important work.
Awesome.
And for inviting me to talk about self-care.
Oh, thank you. And everybody, I hope you got a lot out of this as much as I did. And that's it for now.